No problem. I actually will give you one of my cards. If you have any question or anything later, email me, call me.
Absolutely.
Love to talk cars. So I'm with Brandon Muscle Car, which was the Mustang builders that ECD acquired.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So now I'm with ECD.
That's why you
And
love that design.
yeah, because we built a bunch of Mustangs. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was a cool design. In this particular car that we brought out here, this is a customer's car from the past, and we just borrowed it back for the show.
Okay.
And so it was built about 5 years ago. He actually does drive it. It's a pretty pedestrian, like, as I say, like when you look at these Roush motors, obviously you've heard of Roush.
Yeah.
They're the motor guys. And they'll do anything you want for enough money, enough waiting.
Yeah.
But this is kind of, for them, this is easy to get off the shelf. So this is a 302 that's stroked to a 347.
Wow.
So it's 400 horse. This is what there's two kinds of, most of the customers are Cars and Coffee showing off.
It's always weird to see a distributor
in the front. Yeah, Ford, yeah. This guy's a Cars and Coffee guy. So he's a cruiser, older guy. He just wants to drive it. He's not gonna, it'll still burn the tires and all that. You can still kill yourself, but it's not as quick death. So that's quick death. So
this is quick death.
Yeah, most of the guys. Now this is probably like 80-20. So I got Cars and Coffee guys, but most of the guys say, no. I'm not 70. I'm 50. I would like to kill myself. So this is a 351 stroke to 427, still considered a small block.
Yeah.
It's 550 horse.
Ooh.
And in that old car, even with good suspension, good brakes, everything else, it's still a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
If it's a stick, like most of them are, that one's a 5-speed, and you pump and dump. If you hit it and dump the clutch, you're just going to do a donut. I mean, it'll melt the tires. And it'll melt the tires in all the gears. I mean, every speed, if you wanted to. So, but both of them sound great. This one's a little louder. But that particular car is Cars and Coffee guy. Just want to cruise. There are, again, it's like 80, 10, and then the other 10 is the nuts guy who says, oh, I got to have a supercharger and 700 and, nuts.
Yeah, that's my buddy. He has a Gen 3 Coyote with a Stage
Right, we do Coyotes.
Supercharger.
Yeah, some people want Coyotes with a Whipple or something.
Yeah.
We do that.
Yeah.
That's another small group of guys who are like, I have to have ridiculous power. Okay. So try to talk them out of it, but
yeah, Canon.
This has got the optional 8-stack fuel injection, so you don't normally have that kind of a look. That's a carburetor. We also have a bolt-on fuel injection that looks like that.
Okay.
So you have fuel injection, but you have the old school look. Most people want to see an air cleaner, but this is a very cool look.
I love this look.
It's extra 10 Gs, so it's 10 Gs just for that look, but it doesn't run any better, doesn't make any more power, but it is a killer look. It's a little tall, so you got to be careful what hood you have.
Definitely go for a cowl hood, though.
Yeah, then you're fine. Something with a scoop, you're good. So
3-inch cowl.
The tranny is almost always a stick, 5 or 6 speed, so that's going to be a Tremec. Small group of guys wants an automatic, it's a Ford automatic. So pretty straightforward. The rest of the car is Mustang. It's just all new. So you got a 9-inch rear end, fairly pedestrian suspension. Usually we'll talk them into independent front suspension, rack and pinion, coilover shocks, disc brakes, because the speed limit is 50% higher than it used to be.
Yeah.
The 60s. I always just remind people, hey, remember in the 60s when the speed limit was 55 and now it's 85 in some places? Drum brakes don't work at high speed.
Yeah.
If you're going 80 and everybody locks it up, you're toast. So you want disc brakes at least in the front. Usually people get all 4.
Safer bet.
Yeah, and then what happens is they pick their color. Like this guy picked Ford Velocity Blue, which is a new color. They still put it on trucks and Mustangs. It's a great color. It's very Ford. It's very pretty. And then they'll pick their interior, which black's very common. Obviously with ECD, they're going to take this to a whole nother level because the stuff they've done with these Defenders is nuts. So they're going to be doing all kinds of crazy. I can't even wait to see what they come up with. But it's got, fuel injection, air conditioning, power steering, power brakes. It's a Mustang you can drive, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't drive like a school bus. Doesn't smell like gas. It's got fuel. This has fuel injection on it. This is the bolt-on fuel injection. Still has the old school look, but it is fuel injected. Yeah. And hot, cold, wet, dry, high, low. I mean, it adjusts, right? That's the thing about fuel injection.
Is that
CVFab? CVF is a company that makes accessory drives.
Okay.
So the front pulley kit on the car is CVF. It's a company. I don't know what it stands for, but that's the name of their company is CVF. And they make nice stuff.
Yeah, anytime I see CVF, I think of CV Fabrication.
Yeah, CVF. Yeah, and maybe it is CV Fabrication.
It
That would
could
line
be.
up. But
Yeah. I just didn't know
anyway,
they made stuff for these models.
yeah, maybe they do. Yeah. So anyway, it's a unibody car, which means the chassis is made onto the floor pan. That was a cost-saving thing the OEMs did back then. Ford, Chevy, Chrysler, all of them.
Oh yeah.
So it's got the frame as part of it. This car's like that. So that's the original design. We usually put on frame connectors to stiffen it. Good suspension, good brakes, good shocks. But an upgrade is a full frame like a newer car.
Oh.
So you can put this under that. Obviously, a lot stiffer ride, modern suspension, much capability, much bigger brakes. Like those are monster brakes.
Those are huge.
Yeah, those are bears, very expensive. And obviously a little safer if you were to crash it because it, side impact or a tree or something, this kind of stuff. This is typically a guy who, I won't say road race. They're not necessarily going to road race, but drive it hard, road race it.
Drag strip.
Doesn't care about the extra 20 grand, which relatively it's not a huge amount of money.
Yeah, is that all that is? 20 grand?
It's not horrible.
Wow,
right,
that's actually
that
pretty,
car. Yeah,
pretty good.
so your choice of suspension, your choice of brakes. Obviously, four-wheel disc is real common. Still a 9-inch. It's just new.
Yeah.
That's really what people want is they want it to look old and drive new. So this kind of stuff's big.
That's how I am.
Mechanical.
If I could get like a 60s Mustang with like a modernized interior.
Yeah.
Like
new dash. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing that too with this. I mean, obviously they're putting, I'm sure they told you LT4, 650 horse supercharged.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Chevy motors or Corvette motors in this thing, and that's crazy. But it's a big, heavy vehicle. You need some oomph to get up and go.
Well, it's like that Mansory Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
They put the Lamborghini V12 in it.
Why
I think
not,
is what
right?
it was.
Yeah, why not? So, and then of course on the interiors they're going bonkers with all kinds of cool colors, and they do their own custom dashes, their own custom gauges. Your wife can bring in a handbag and say, "Here, make the interior match my bag." I mean, all that stuff. And nobody's doing that design and feature in old muscle cars yet, right? So these guys are. It's going to be cool. And I can't wait to see what they come up with. Probably the clients will probably go nuts and come up with some really crazy stuff.
This is such a good spot for cup holders.
We've done some cool paint jobs, but I think they're going to get into all kinds of wild interiors, colors, wood floors. I mean, God only knows,
This is such a nice accent too.
I know. I like this one. I like the
that
colors on this one.
Yeah.
This is the one I would take out of all the beach runners.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is like my desert beach runner. I love it.
Yeah, this thing's sweet.
Have you met Elliot?
Not yet.
Elliot's one of the founders.
Hello, mate.
How you doing? Right
nice
on.
to meet you. Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you too. How you
Just
doing?
moral support.
Oh, nice. Good. Always needed.
So I just walked them through motors, car, suspension,
Oh,
customization.
Nice.
They've already done the design.
Okay.
So I think the only thing left, have you done the production tour yet, the factory tour?
Not yet.
That's the best part, is seeing them being made. That's so
Yeah.
cool. I love it. So yeah, that's the next part.
Yeah, it's good. Very good.
That's what sold me. Was
Yeah.
I saw it on the internet and I was like, "Ooh, when can I come visit?"
Yeah,
I
right.
bugged them for a few weeks. They said, "All right, come down." So and then
Yeah.
I was sold.
At the minute, we've got the North Line filled with Land Rovers, and then the South Line's filled with Jags, and there's a 911 at the back of it. So
Okay.
that line will eventually clear through the end of this year, and that then becomes the Mustang line.
Do you guys specialize in Euros?
No, not really. No, nothing specific. Just what we like. Yeah, we just do what we like.
Just customer demand, essentially?
Yeah, we sort of picked the base model. So like we chose the first car was the Land Rover Defender. Then we started to do the series trucks, Land Rover series trucks, which are the older ones. Then Range Rovers, because they all sort of share the same underpinnings. So it's actually quite easy to work between the cars. You've got a different body on the top.
Okay.
And then we added the E-Type last year. And then we did the 911 as like a couple of one-off builds because we had a couple of requests. And then the big thing going into 2025 is the Mustang. And that was,
so beautiful.
yeah, well, we were looking around for a while, and then we saw Dave's sort of business doing it up in Tulsa, and went up and saw, and you came down here and saw. And
Yep. He came to visit. I came to visit.
Yeah, got on very well, and got to make a little marriage happen.
And for me, this was always the dream, was some kind of a factory assembly line, but I just wasn't going to get there myself. I mean, it's just too much to do. Like, I've got a restoration shop, and I'm doing builds, kind of trying to run them through that, and it's a mess. It's super inefficient, but this was always kind of the dream. And then when I saw it here, and they said, "Hey, we want to move the Mustangs in here," I'm like, "Great, go do it!" Like, because I'm never going to do this. So, and I mean, I know that. This is big. This is a big deal. So yeah, and no one's doing this, and someone needed to do it
Yeah.
in Mustangs,
Yeah.
Camaros, classic American cars.
Yeah.
This is a no-brainer. All the parts are available. I mean, you get every nut and bolt. That's
sweet.
really big.
Yeah. So for us to build this Defender, we'll have to start bringing parts in for this from the UK and from the rest of the world, like 3 to 4 months before we even put hands on it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It takes that long. Like back orders, ordering from Land Rover is a freaking nightmare. So like it's just months, and then it goes sea freight, and we have to fill a container. So like we're shipping a container of Land Rover parts every month. Whereas Dave, did you say you can get all the parts within about a week? Normally?
Yeah. I the fastest I've ever gotten is about 3 days, a whole car, because I have a spreadsheet where I have every part, and then I'll go through and change it, whatever the customer changes, right? And I'll get it cleaned up for that car. And then one build, 58. We numbered the builds. They do names. I do numbers. Which was our fastest build ever. There were no screw ups, no stepping backwards, nothing, no 2 steps forward. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, it was amazing. Like every step of the way, we were like, awesome. But I put the order in on a Monday, and we had everything on a Thursday. Great. Pallets, boom. Wow. There's the whole car. It was really cool. Yeah, so that's the fastest, 3 days.
Excited about that. Yeah. Because I've done Land Rovers for 10 years, and it's 10 years of a freaking nightmare. But I mean, we build a nice car at the end of it. But yeah.
Well, with these parts, the people they're warehoused in America, right? Yeah. So I mean, you're talking. Yeah, exactly. Actually, the 2 big warehouses locations are California and Florida. Yeah, the East Coast, West Coast. Yeah. So yeah, you're really close. Yeah. But yeah, I'm in Tulsa, so it took a couple days truck freight.
Yeah. It's Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
So it'd be about 3 days truck freight from Florida or California, kind of the same.
Yeah.
So Oklahoma's right in the middle. So which was good too. I mean, that's better than Seattle or something, but
oh my god.
Vancouver, way up there.
Up there, yeah.
So yeah, it's not bad, but you guys they'll have it good.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So, and we have a bit of a global customer base. So I think we're pretty excited to do some right-hand drive Mustangs as well, aren't we?
Yes, yeah.
Right-hand drive.
Because those don't exist in the wild.
No.
And you can build them this way for no more money. It's just a slightly different set of parts. It's no more labor. And
wow.
So to me, I keep saying, don't forget right-hand drive, don't forget, because that's a big market. You know, I mean, Australia, they love our cars. South Africa, they love our cars. India.
You also got to think there's a lot of like JDM guys. Yeah. You know, a lot of JDM, when they get older, they like to switch to American muscle. Yeah. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Look,
so.
Fast and Furious. I mean, what was it? Tokyo Drift?
Dom. Yeah.
It was a Mustang. It was exactly. It was a fastback. Yeah. The other thing that's kind of interesting, and we haven't talked about this a whole lot. I think I mentioned it once, and this is a whole nother world, but you guys are better equipped than me than do it. But I have had some contacts from China, because it's a huge car market, lots of people, lots of money. They love collector cars. Well, in China, you can't drive anything that's older than 3 years, period.
Are you serious?
You can own it and collect it. You cannot drive it on the road. That can be titled as a 2024 because it's an all-new build. So I can send that car to China as a 2024 with an American title, and they can drive it on the road. That would be the only old Mustang you see in the country. There's plenty of billionaires there that would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but you have to have a partnership with someone there. Chinese government, you cannot do business there without a partnership with a Chinese company. Yeah. And finding the right person would be hard, and you'd have to go there, and
Yeah, I think the right-hand drive market though, like
huge.
UK,
huge.
To Australia.
Yeah,
UK. Like a good blend of English and American, I think.
And you've already got a
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you've already got an office there in the UK. You've got people there. That's big. Yeah, and not to mention electric. Because if you want to drive in the city center of London, what is it, 2 years, 3 years? Has to be electric. Right now it's a fee, right?
Yeah, some Oxford is no emission zone.
Right,
so you can't even drive.
Right. Yeah, they passed a law, and Europe's going to do that. All of them, Germany, everywhere, they're all going to do
what?
That.
Yeah, I was there.
Can't drive into the downtown without electric or zero emissions.
Yeah, I was there 2 weeks ago to see suppliers. I went around UK shops and stuff. And centre of Oxford is a no emission zone.
Holy cow!
No gas cars.
I mean, I guess it's better for the environment, but it's like.
Yep. So again, if you're going to electrify one of these, a lot easier to do it building it from scratch. Yeah. Converting one's much harder.
Yeah.
You can do it, but it's a nightmare. The batteries. You got to figure out where to put the batteries. It's not the motor; it's the batteries.
Yeah.
So and maybe hydrogen. Who knows, right? Toyota says they're going to do hydrogen and crush everybody. Yeah, so you can put a hydrogen motor in that.
Well, Toyota partnered with what, Honda
Kia.
and Kia?
Yeah. Toyota and Kia say they've got it figured out.
Yeah.
And they're going to smoke all the EVs. We'll see.
I don't know. We'll find out because
Toyota's
right
pretty
now
smart.
Kia and Hyundai are terrible cars.
Right, but Toyota's the biggest car maker in the world.
They are, yeah.
They've got the money.
They
And they're
sure
not
do.
dummies. So, the CEO of Toyota has announced that they in their secret lab, they have developed a hydrogen engine that will smoke all EVs.
Good.
Eliminate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
And what's funny is it's internal combustion. It just
Yeah.
runs on hydrogen.
Yeah.
But it's super efficient.
I mean, they've had plenty of other like engineers make them like
Yeah.
15, 20
It
years
works.
ago. And
Yeah.
they just never mass produce it.
Yeah. And the only emission is water.
Yeah.
It drips water. So, yeah. So anyway, we'll see. We don't care. We just like it to look cool and go fast. I don't
Yeah.
care what it runs on. I'm a big Back to the Future fan, so I don't care if it runs on banana peels. I mean, whatever.
I don't know that
you know?
new Dodge that came out, the electric one with the
I
the
saw it at
audio
SEMA.
for the
I
exhaust.
saw it at SEMA.
Oh,
It is killer. It is. I'm
hate
telling
it.
you,
I hate it.
it's so cool in person. I'm not saying I want old ones to go away at all, but
Yeah.
that was cool. It was really cool.
It looks cool,
It is very
but
cool.
it's just the idea of like
Yeah, it's very cool. And it's mean.
sound that comes out of it.
It growls. Yeah. Yeah, we've done a little bit of electric. They've done a little bit of electric. So yeah, noisemakers are an issue. So most customers want some kind of noisemaker.
Of course.
Yeah, and I get it totally.
If I got a muscle car, I want to hear that thing scream down the road.
Yeah, sound is a huge deal. Like on these